And welcome back to my channel. Unless you're new here, and then just welcome. My name is Rusty, and this is my channel where I talk about my favorite movies, mostly horror, and my favorite music, mostly metal. And we are going to continue with Rambo Fest with Rambo First Blood Part 2. As I said in the last one, this is the Rambo 5-film collection Blu-ray box set. If you like Rambo, you should really own it. These are the newest remasters. And yes. So, Rambo First Blood Part 2 was released in 1985. It was directed by George Cosmatos, written by David Morrell and Sylvester Stallone. Stars Sylvester Stallone, Richard Crenna, Charles Napier, who was one of the hippies in the original Star Trek episode The Way to Eden. He's the one with the guitar that sang that song to them. Just interesting trivia there for you. And Martin Kove. So this movie takes, a different direction than the first. This one goes into more of a missing in action type scenario, whereas the first one was a more character-driven bully versus, rebel versus bully storyline. This is moves into the more missing in action war mission type movie, which is fine. I like those two. So we are introduced to his current situation, which is John Rambo is now serving time in a federal prison camp. He's in a rock quarry where he's doing, his busting rocks. And he is called in by one of the guards who takes him to see our general, Richard Crenna. So General Tautman offers him a mission to recon POWs in Vietnam. And if he agrees, it could mean a presidential pardon. So he agrees and he heads off to Thailand to be briefed on the mission. And at that briefing, we meet Erickson and Murdoch. So he is advised that he will be giving all of this fancy equipment, that his job is to go to this camp and to see if the reports that there are actual POWs there is true or not, and to take photographs, to take photographic evidence of these POWs and bring that back. Do not engage, do not attempt to rescue, which is hilarious if you think about it. Because anyone who thinks that, and I think that the Colonel knew that, and that is that anyone who thinks that you're going to send Rambo to a fucking POW camp and he's going to leave them there is not really going to, that's not the way things are going to work out. That's what I would have thought anyway. So he's told not to engage. Eric and them fly him over. They do have a hard exit where he gets hung up trying to get out, so they don't even know if he's alive. He does manage to cut himself free and does free fall, and his chute opens and he lands. He's only got 36 hours to get back to the extraction point. So he takes off and he starts trying to look for he's got a contact. It's a chick named Ko or Ko, just C-O, Ko, I guess. I don't know how you pronounce it. But we could just call her Ko. So he does eventually find her, and she's like, "Why are you late?" And he's like, he got hung up, which is pretty true. So she takes him to a pirate camp where, he wonders what the fuck this is. And she's like, well, they're the ones that are going to take us down the river. They go and they get to this camp, and it does look deserted. It does look like there's no one there. However, he then sees someone. and it becomes obvious that there is someone there, at which point he then cannot resist. They watch how things operate at this camp. They're going to go in and, they're going to go in and try to rescue. And she's like, no, you're not supposed to do that. And he's like, well, that's just tough shit, because that's exactly what I'm going to do anyway. So, they do get in there. The others, they don't even know, Command doesn't even know if he's going to come back, because they still think that he may not have even made it down because of the accident that occurred after he got out of the plane. So they get there, and the bodies start dropping. And unlike the first movie, these kills are kills. So he starts killing them in various unique ways. I love, he's Katniss Everdeen before Katniss Everdeen. You know what I'm saying? He is excellent with that bow. The silent killer. So, against orders, he goes in and starts doing them. He's killing him pretty randomly and pretty quietly and really getting the job done. He does manages to get to the camp and rescue one of them. There's a whole bunch of them there. But I think what he wanted was, instead of photographic proof, because they were about to kill this one guy, he rescued that guy. And what better proof can you have, right, than the POW himself? So they begin this running trek from them. And there's lots of killing, lots of chasing, lots of tense moments. They do make it to the extraction point. And I'll be damned if Murdoch doesn't tell Erickson to abort the mission. And the colonel, he flips out. And he's like, what the fuck? They're right there, 8 feet from us. What are you talking about? So you're kind of like, what the fuck is going on, right? They're right there. All he had to do was reach his hand down and pull him up. So, once again, Rambo is betrayed by the government. And they fly off. And the colonel couldn't do nothing about it, because he's being flown off at gunpoint. The other dude in the copter has got a gun on him. And it's like, you're not doing anything. And so the three of them take off, leaving Rambo there, where him and the other guy are unfortunately recaptured, and poor Rambo is now under the mercy of a POW camp. We are then introduced to Petrovsky. Petrovsky is a Russian commander. We now know that the Kong is involved in this. So the Kong are all obviously working with the Russians. So he's been abandoned. Trout does confront Murdoch when he gets back, and they have a really nice tete-a-tete between each other. And he lets him know that you do know, at this moment in time, the second you made that little radio call in which you abandoned Rambo there with his soldier that he has worked so hard to rescue, you do know that you can consider yourself fucked, because he's coming for you. So, and of course they don't believe it. He's just like fucking Teasel. You've always got to have the weasel in the movie. So we see Rambo in the camp. The Russians are working with the Kong. I'm calling them the Kong. Petrovsky interrogates him, demands what he wants him to do is he wants to use him as a political pawn. He wants him to call and let his bosses and America and the world know that they have been violated, that he committed a war crime, that he violated their territory, and that no one else should do that, because he is a war criminal now. Now, of course, he refuses to do that until they first of all, they torture the fuck out of him, including that electric bed, which is kind of, it's just like a box spring that's had all of the cloth burnt off of it. And they tie him to that and they electrocute him, which, that's definitely an interesting torture device. An electric bed, and not the way you think about it. So they're going to kill that other guy, the soldier that he had rescued. They're going to like stab him through the eye, and he agrees to do what they want. And little do they know, though, as often with heterosexuals, there is a way into this camp, and that is that they've been bringing in hookers from town. So Kove, she decides to dress up like a hooker to get into that camp, and Rambo has no idea that this is going on, but she manages to pretend to be a hooker, get into that camp, where then she initiates a rescue by killing the guy that she came there to see, her client. She kills him, finds out where Rambo is waiting underneath the cell, the place that they have him. And as soon as she sees the opportunity, because Rambo does take the opportunity and starts beating the hell out of him, and that's her sign to help. So surprisingly to him, she pops up like Wonder Woman, I'm saying. So she pops up, and they end up, getting out of that. That was some really good fight scenes. They manage to get away, and they find this spot where they rest, and, I'm like, oh, please, no, don't get, like, I hate romance shit in my war movies. It's just, like, stupid. But thankfully, unfortunately for her, but thankfully for me in the storyline, that's so mean, I know, but just get over it. So he's agreed to take her back with him so that she can finally get to America, which is her dream. So he's going to take her back with him, and then I'll be damned if that one Kong, you know who I'm talking about, that one Kong that's been like following them this whole way, the little commander, the little Kong commander, he fucking shoots her full. I mean, and you don't see that coming, and it's just like really sudden. And so she dies right there, and Rambo is really upset. He's really upset. Your rebel always needs a little bit of, it's not like he didn't have enough encouragement to flip out. That was just all he needed now, was just a little bit more. So Rambo starts taking out this, basically it's a mixed Kong and Russian fighting force, a squad, battalion of Russian and Kong, like working together, all looking for Rambo. And it's just one kill after another in these really cool, little, amazing ways. So he's taking them out one by one in all these cool scenes. He ends up, that main Kong, that was a really good one because he's been like lasting through this whole section of the movie, and he almost gets him with a few bullets, and Rambo gets out them explosive arrows and he blows that guy up, and that was like a sweet scene, because that guy's like out in the open in this like river bottom, so there's really nowhere to go fast enough to get away from Rambo. So he can take his time, and he ends up blowing that guy up, like, into millipieces. So that was a cool scene. Petrovsky gets after him with the little Russian V copter. They got that special looking copter. He gets after him with that, and they end up, a bunch of extreme booms. He goes back, gets his own copter, get to the chopper, He gets back to the camp with the chopper that he's got. He gets back to the camp, frees them, and then I started laughing during the movie because I'm like, get to the chopper! So they get into the copter. He takes off, and then I'll be damned if that Petrovsky bitch, he don't come back again, and there's this nice little copter chase, copter run, and he ends up like, I love the fake out that he does, because the copter that he's on is like really outgunned by the one that Petrovsky's on, so it looks like it is kind of messed up too, but he like lands it in the water. Because the guy wants to savor the kill, right? So he lands it in the water and acts like he is unconscious, laid back in the seat like he's asleep. And he like creeps up with that copter, like getting closer and close before he does it. And then all of a sudden, it even make you jump in your chair because Stallone really does look unconscious. And then boom, he's got an RPG and he just like fires it right through the window and blows Petrovsky out of hell, and that was really good. Then he lifts off, he takes them back, he lets them know that he's coming, and what's funny is when he calls the wolf den and lets them know that the lone wolf is on the way, that fucking Murdoch like runs like a bitch, and I noticed that, how quickly he got out of the command room. I was like, I don't know, that bitch probably like took off running across the yard, but he manages to land, and Rambo ain't even waiting. He's just like, yeah, I'm home. Take these anyway. Get out of my way. Because he goes for Murdoch. And he gets in there, and I just knew he was going to kill that motherfucker. Well, I was just following orders. Yeah. So were the Nazis. You know what I'm saying? It's like a really bad excuse. So I really thought he was going to kill him, but he didn't. He was just like scared the absolute shit. And that guy did not take a dump for a week. I mean, he could have ate Italian spaghetti 3 times a day for a week and still not been able to shit. That's how scared Rambo did him, because he knew that he was cut up into pieces. So I thought that was funny. But he was like, they're there. I know what you did. You're going to go get them all. There's more. You're going to go get them. And so he scares Murdoch, and Richard Crenna, of course, just sits back. And you can always see in the Colonel's eyes, you can always see the love that he has for Rambo. He's just like, that's my boy. I just think he just loves the way, I just think he loves his creation. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people say, well, they're kind of like father and son. I don't think so. And I'm not saying they're like lovers either. It's not that. Their relationship is more like a creator and his creation. You know what I mean? But not like father and son in that way. But just more like, this is the beast I created. This is my Frankenstein, and he's pretty. And he's glorious. And that's kind of the way that their relationship kind of looks to me. Because I've really tried to look, a lot of people call it like father and son, and I'm like, I don't see that. I really don't see that. And then, of course, the other side, people are like, I don't know, I think they got bones for each other. And I'm like, well, I could see that too, but no, I don't think so. It is more like Victor Frankenstein and his monster, but he's a pretty monster, and he's a righteous monster. And it's sort of like, that's what it feels like to me. Their relationship is like creator and the creation. And you can always see how much Richard Crenna admires his creation. And he's like, I did good with that one. That's just the way it's always felt to me, their relationship. But I really loved this movie. It's a 10 out of 10, of course. And, like I said, I watched all 3 of them. I watched the first 3, to make sure they were still 10 out of 10s to me, and they are. I don't know about 4 and 5. When I watch them to script them, I'll see. But yeah, so I absolutely love this movie. It was a fantastic sequel. It did take a completely different direction, but a direction that seemed fluid, seemed natural, the natural, step in this franchise. So, yeah, that was Rambo First Blood 2 from 1985. It's another 10 out of 10. I absolutely love it. I adore it. It is phenomenal. And it is Rambo, like everything about Rambo. And as usual, I loved Sylvester Stallone in it. I love the way he looked. I love his acting. I love his hair. I fucking love Rambo's hair. Like you can't tell, but I love Rambo's hair. Sylvester Stallone looks so good in Rambo hair. He just looks tough. He wouldn't be Rambo without that. That's why I like him. I don't know. But he's like 5,000 years old in the last one, so I guess, maybe he couldn't have that hair. I don't know. I still think the hair, if he'd have kept the Rambo hair in the last one, I still say he would have looked 20 years younger. But we'll see when I watch it again. I don't know if it's a 10 out of 10 or not. It could still be. I ranked them all 10 out of 10 years ago when I was watching them. But I have to watch them again, and put my fan eye back on it and make sure that they're still 10 out of 10. They may have lost a point or a half a point or something. But the first three didn't, because they thrilled the shit out of me like they always did. Let me know what you think about Rambo First Blood 2, and I will see you in the next one. Love you, miss you. Bye-bye. Always remember and never forget, you are the only one of you on this entire planet. DNA proves it. Not even twins. Not even twins. You do know that, right? Even identical twins have differences in their DNA. You are the only one of you that have mutations. You are the only one of you. DNA proves it. Be yourself. Be the only one of you, because you are the only one of you. And always remember, you are a very, very special person because of that fact. I will see you in Rambo 3. Bye-bye.